Today we're braising pork belly with lots of garlic and white pepper, a flavour profile made famous by the Singaporean Bak Kut Teh. And we start by lightly crushing the white peppercorns. Unlike black peppercorns and many spices, which become more aromatic after toasting, white peppercorns lose their pungency, their bright, sharp aromas when they're toasted. So we simply crush them slightly to maximize flavour extraction. Perfect. Into a tea bag, if you have one. Now the pork. Straight into a cold pan, we add our pork belly, trying to form one even layer, if possible. And if time permits, do them in batches. We gradually bring in some heat. The objective of the exercise here is we first want to render the fat, then we sear. This way, you prevent them from forming a crust too early and reduce the risk of them burning. Eventually, you'll get a more even sear. And this could take 10-15 minutes, but the result is worth it. Now, once you can see a really generous amount of pork fat rendered out, we can crank up the heat to really brown them, to cause the Maillard reaction, what's going to make them taste meaty, and later on the caramelization, what's going to give them that nutty complexity. Once everything is beautifully golden, we skim off all of the fat, some of which we'll use to cook our garlic later. By the way, if you're doing this in batches, you can do both the rendering and the searing in the oven to make life easier. Perfect. Now we add the first round of garlic. Just a few cloves with the skin on for them to slowly impart some sweetness and umami into our cooking liquid. We salt very generously and we cover everything with just enough water. Take the opportunity to deglass the pot, mopping up all those fond, all those beautiful flavors. Now, the white pepper, they go in. White peppercorns, they're weakly water soluble. With time and gentle heat, the spiciness will slowly intensify and the broth would gradually take on the signature earthy quality, and the additional render fat from the pork would take on that warm, slightly woody note. It is, however, important to remove the white pepper after 45 minutes of cooking so that we don't get the unwanted bitterness and tannins. It is, in my opinion, the peppercorn that requires most work. So, lid on, 2 hours in total. After 2 hours, the majority of which I spent on peeling garlic, we have this beauty. The broth has taken on this wonderful dark tea color, and the pork belly at this point is perfectly cooked. The fat layer you see here is softened yet extremely yummy connective tissue. The majority of the fat has been rendered out earlier. That's what makes this dish rich but not heavy. Now, we cook the garlic. Medium heat, we add a generous amount of this yummy pork fat. Garlic goes in to gently infuse with the pork fat, making it a carrier of mellowed garlic flavors. And the whole time we want them to cook without color, just to get to the point where the surface is starting to bubble. Once the smell is no longer too pungent, we add our pork belly for the flavors to really mix. Oh, yeah. The smell is incredible. Now, to turn our extremely flavoursome tea into extremely flavoursome milk tea, we turn up the heat and we introduce the liquid. Bit by bit, the agitation with the boiling action emulsifies our extremely flavoursome fat with our extremely flavoursome cooking liquid, turning it milky white. And the hot liquid in turn softens the garlic, giving us the perfect texture, and the fat content from this milky white liquid is now taking on even more beautiful garlic flavours. The gelatin from the pork belly keeps this emulsion stable, helping us maintain this wonderful, milky, creamy texture. Look at that. You taste and adjust the seasoning, and your Bak Kut Teh stew is ready.